This is R2G Rally Radio. For the latest in on-event rally news.
And at the end of day one, Silver Fern 2024, back here at the Riccarton Racecourse, Christchurch, New Zealand, of course. And just talking to some of the drivers about their escapades during the day. One, we have Steve Cox. You're back in your little Starlet. Tell us the story behind that instead of your fancy Audi.
Well, for a start, the Audi's not really eligible for this event. For two, the Starlet was really built as a car that could do endurance events like this. So we've got all the spares. We can change things quickly. So, if we need to change the gearbox, we can do it in like 20 minutes. The Audi would probably be 4 or 5 hours. So it's designed for this. It's the smallest capacity car in the field, but we have a blast and we go punch above our weight pretty much.
Excellent. All right, well, good luck, and we'll see you again tomorrow, for sure.
Look forward to doing that. We'll be here.
Good on you. Thank you.
Actually, Greymouth, but anyway.
Yes, indeed. Tony Jardine, end of day one. Now, the car's looking nice, straight and tidy. Is the driving reflecting the condition of the car?
Yeah, of course, I've got to say that, haven't I? Yeah. No, the only issue we had is loose caliper. That's not what the knocking was down the back. Other than that, it's been absolutely fantastic. I just love the variety of stages over the day. I mean, stage 6 was like a racetrack, and our fans were all out. I mean, it was unbelievable. Yeah.
And I guess there's a variety in length. Stage 6 in particular was one of the longer ones.
Yes. And then there was one that was over the pass with the deep ruts that we talked about. The long one was at that 26 kilometres, something like that. Anyway, but that was catching cars, getting in the dust, pressing the push to pass button and getting all dramatic. We had a couple of little offs just because there's points at which you just couldn't see at all. And then something that tightened more than I thought. We climbed a bank, but no dramas because you don't have any stones or rocks in your grass, and you can get away with it. Just a couple of slides and things like that. But I think gelling with the new co-driver who only met last week, with Duncan Jordan from Australia. He's getting good on the notes now, and I was starting to just get a little bit quicker. So I just said to the team now, well, we're only third in class. 2 escorts, 1600s ahead of us. One by not so much, and the other one by minute 40, something like that. And they said, it's first day, calm down. It's a long way to go. It's an endurance rally, but it's just, where else in the world could you do what you do here? It's so remote, so incredible, such driving roads. Pretty much gravel motorways, that's how I describe it.
And that's why you've come back.
That's why I've come back, and the New Zealand people, because you're all very, very welcoming, very, very helpful, and you like to see us and you let us know. And there aren't many places in the world that the Brits can go where people are friendly these days. So, but at least we know we get a welcome in New Zealand. Thank God.
Excellent, thank you. We'll talk again tomorrow. Jeff Judd. You've grown up on these roads, but also with the event. The pace is fantastically hot at the front.
Yeah, sure is, but you've got some class there, haven't you? I mean, James Ford was here last year. He's back, spent more time on his notes, left-hand drive car. So, and you've got all the gun Kiwis behind him. Buey and Clinky and Robbie Stokes, and then, Nathan Quinn was always going to be fast, wasn't he? So shit, it's bloody awesome to be behind those boys, but yeah, I'm happy.
There's still 6 days to go, and I guess that's probably where the experience will start to show.
I guess so, but if someone gets a puncture, it's only a couple of minutes or has a small incident, but it's just managing how big or small or how much time you lose with those incidents, whatever they are.
You've got Stefan back in the car. It's a well-proven package. Everything's going well.
Oh yeah, he's great. He's a neat guy. He's so experienced and a lot of fun as well. And he just loves these roads. His enthusiasm and excitement at the end of some of the roads. He just wishes they were longer. But yeah, no, it's cool. To hell, he's a friggin' legend, isn't he? I'm so privileged and pinch myself how you have someone like an ex-WRC co-driver sitting next to you that comes and does these roads. Yeah, it's cool.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll talk again tomorrow.
Thanks, mate.
Stokes, car 10. There was a queue forming here. orderly fashion, please. Robbie, we've heard a few stories about your driving out there. Obviously, you're wanting to finish first.
I don't know what you've heard, but we're taking it pretty easy.
Oh, I've seen some video footage and using all the road.
Oh, doesn't feel like I'm using all the road. I feel like there's still a bit there, but no, we haven't had any moments all day. It's just been, just steady going.
Okay, so the objective, obviously finishing is primarily, but have you got any expectations?
Nah, just finishing, yeah. I just drive how I drive. I think that's how my brain's wired. Driving slow, probably end up putting it off the road or something. So, yeah, no, just drive how I see it and do it, and
okay, well,
it works out.
Exactly, you got 6 days to prove that. Thank you. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you.
From Prevo, Jeff Judd was telling us a bit of a story about you get a little excited at the end of the stages.
Well, it's so much fun. These roads are amazing. That's the best you can find in the world. So I'm enjoying so much. Judy is doing really well, and every time I came here, I always said the same. That's best road in the world for sure. So much fun.
All right. Well, 6 days to go. You think he's got the goods?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for sure. Things will happen anyway. But well, first of all, we're here to enjoy, and I'm sure we're not doing too bad. So should be fine. But it's a long rally. I mean, you need to be a bit clever always. And try to make it to the end.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. We will look forward to talking again tomorrow.
Thank you.
People you see in the service park. John Kennard, what are you doing here this weekend or this week as part of the Silver Fern Rally?
Richard Tuttle had a shoulder operation a short time ago, so he couldn't come over. So I've taken his role for the weekend, sporting director at Tuttle Porsche.
No small title, but still, to be fair, it's right in your wheelhouse. It's something you're very well used to doing. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, and I am now that things have got underway. It's been quite a wee bit of work to do beforehand, but we're underway now.
Excellent, good to hear. Well, I'm sure we'll see you during the week.
Cheers.
This is your 7 o'clock update of the end of Saturday, day one of the Silver Fern Rally. And in the historic trophy, the two-wheel drive historic trophy section, it's James Ford and Neil Shanks from the UK all the way in their Ford Escort RS, having won all but one of the 7 stages that were run competitively today, after the first stage unfortunately had to be cancelled. They were only headed off by Marcus van Klink on stage 7. The short, funnily enough, reverse run of stage 1. And they have gone to bed tonight, or into service at very least, a comfortable 1 minute 12.6 ahead of Dean Buist and Tim McIver in their Mark II Escort. Buist, again, as we would all expect, consistency personified, second on four of the stages, third on one, and fourth on the last 2. I guess as he eased his way into the overnight service in preparation for tomorrow. Marcus van Klink was fresh from his Targa victory a month or so ago. He and Toby Marsh are in third place in the Mazda RX-7 this time, rather than the big tarmac Jap Jet, the RX-8. They've had a good run with 3 or 4 third fastest times and that stage win on stage 7. Lost a bit of time in stage 3 and recorded only the 8th fastest time there. But they are 41.1 seconds down on Dean Buist in third place. Next is another Mazda, certainly the other extreme of the Mazda range, the RX-2 of Coffs Harbour resident Nathan Quinn, with David Green back alongside as usual on these long distance rallies, and they've got their RX2 safely into 4th place tonight, and they are just 1.2 seconds behind Klinky as they take the overnight break. They got headed off with by Klinky's win on stage 7. As they grab the podium position, the third place podium position. So Nathan Quinn sitting in 4th, and then it's 1 minute 37, so a fairly substantial gap back to Jeff Judd and our Belgian guest Stefan Prevost in their Magnum Ford Escort. Good consistent run, top 10 stage times. They are 1:37.9 behind Nathan Quinn. Next, Robbie Stokes, who lost a lot of time in stage 3. When the car cut out, and co-driver sister Amy had to get out and push the car to get it to restart. Fortunately, it was a downhill slope. So I guess she was chasing the car down the hill for a little way to get back on board. But they did lose quite a bit of time there. But since then, they've recorded 5th and 6th fastest times through the afternoon stages to be back up into 6th place, 38 seconds behind Jeff Judd, and more significantly 4 minutes 11.3 behind the leading UK driver James Ford. Our Austrian and German team of Chris Rosenberger and Nicola Bleacher in the Tuttle Porsche 911 are in 7th place overall, and they are 17.6 seconds down on Robbie Stokes. Then we go back another 16 seconds to a UK combination, Robert Goff and Jeremy Rogers in an Escort. They in turn are 12.8 seconds ahead of compatriots Roger Chilman and Patrick Walsh in their Ford Escort in 9th place overall. In the top 10 is completed by one of our gold card NZRC runners, Shane Merland and Kane Seymour. In their Ford Escort, they complete the top 10, and they are just 0.5 of a second behind Roger Chilman as they break cover tomorrow morning. The 11th is the Lancia Stratos HF of Philip Cowdery and Ryan Champion from the UK. They're a minute 36 down on Shane Merland. Then it's another 26 seconds back to Alan Dippy and Paul Coghill in their Porsche. Andy Martin, Matt Hayward from the Bay of Plenty and the Paddon Rally Sport Group Ford Escort run by the Paddon team. They're 13th overall. 32 seconds down on Dippy, and then Evgeny Kuriev and PG Anderson in the third Porsche 911, of course, as it works out with Alan Dippy and his local one, 51 seconds down on Andy Martin. It's another 6.3 back to our Spanish visitors, Daniel Alonso and Candido Estevez in their Ford Escort, and then Richard Spink and Nigel Hutchinson follow on in their Escort, 3.3 seconds further back in 16th. And the rest of the field, Merv Hatcher in his Mitsubishi Starion is 17th, Bonamy Grimes in the Ford Escort from the UK is 18th. Grant Shand is 19th, followed by Peter Sharmack in another Escort. Andrew Siddle, yet another Escort. Ken McDonald is 22nd in his Escort. Brandon James is in 23rd place. Then we have a change with Scott O'Donnell, all the way up from Southland in his Mazda RX-3. He's in 24th place, ahead of Ian Dobson in a Mark 1 Escort. Then Julian Burley in the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus. Talbot Lotus Sunbeam. Then Greenie and Brianna Little in their Ford Escort, the Magnum Escort in 27th place. Steve Cox and Laurie Brensel in the little Toyota Starlet, doing a good job as always, in 28th place overall, followed by David Young in an Escort Mexico with Douglas Young alongside. Chris Ford, I believe he's the father of the leader, James Ford, with Daniel Forsyth in the Ford Escort, they're 30th. Then comes Keith Stewart in his Ford Escort RS with Carol Ann Perfect alongside. And then Tony Jardine and Duncan Jordan in the Magnum Motorsport Run Toyota Corolla AE86 are in 32nd place, followed by two other finishers for the day. 33rd place goes to car 38 to Ben Howlett and Nick Van Der Veen in a Chrysler Avenger. And our final recorded finisher today, car in 34th place, William Midgley and Jeff Maybank, who lost a lot of time in the first special stage today and got a maximum target time added to their times in the Corolla 1600 GT. They are in 35th place, some 1 hour, 2 minutes behind the rally leader. Those to not make it through all of the day, Charlie Evans, unfortunately, fell by the wayside in his Mazda RX-7. Then Darren Snooks from Australia in his Datsun Stanza. Also, we lost Ali Mackay and his Mark 1 Escort, Bruce Farley in a Datsun B510. Marion Evans, probably one of the pre-race favourites in his Ford Escort, stopped in stage 3. And Joshua Hilton from Australia with Rodney Vanderpoel in his Toyota Celica was also out in the second special stage of the day. So that's the wrap as far as the Silver Fern goes. Moving on to the challenge side of things, there's 13 runners in that one. And Chris Ramsey and Amy Hudson have done very well today in the new Toyota Corolla. Rambo, of course, built, as you would expect. They're enjoying a minute 31.7 lead over Carl Celeste, the defending challenge champion, with Andy Oakley co-driving this time in the Toyota Levin. Then it's 1 minute 52 back to Richard Galley and Claire Bacchini from Australia in the BMW E30. Fourth is Phil Thomas and Chris Kremer in a Mark II Escort, 22.8 seconds further back. And then Austin Jones and Kingsley Jones. I believe Kingsley drove the last couple of stages in the front-wheel drive Subaru Impreza. You might remember young Zeal drove in his initial introduction to the New Zealand Rally Championship. They're in 5th place at 27 seconds behind Phil Thomas. Then it's another 32 seconds back to Ross Yendall and Brodie Norris from Australia in their Ford Escort. Then Daniel Alexander and Auntie Waverley in the Toyota Starlet are in 7th place overall, 1 minute 55 behind Yendall. And then Chris Padden and Robin Matheson in the AE 101 Toyota Levin that I think Chris last drove 21 years ago before he handed the keys over to Hayden to learn his craft. They're 4 minutes 11 down on Dan Alexander and Waverley Jones. 9th is Michael Ward and Peter Helvig in a Toyota Levin. Then comes Dave Strong and Rob Scott, probably the ones to suffer most today, with a couple of right front punctures that cost them some 10 minutes. So they're 11 minutes 42 behind Chris Ramsey at the moment, down in 10th place in the challenge field. And then Ed Mulligan, visitor, of course, regular visitor from Australia in his BMW E30 with Philip Bonser alongside this time. They're just 0.6 of a second behind Dave Strong and Rob Scott. And then Andrew Lowe and Ian Barr, who unfortunately Andrew had to have a change of co-driver when Thomas Good, we believe, has gone down with food poisoning. So Ian Barr has stepped in halfway through the day, or after stage 3. They're in 12th place, and they are 17 minutes 48 down on Rambo. The one non-finisher in the challenge field was car 45, Brian Van Eck in his Toyota Altezza, who unfortunately fell out during stage number 2. So that's a wrap as far as the challenge field go. The Silver Fern, the 3-day event, well, Keith Hamilton, as you would expect, in the Subaru GC8, with Glenn Alcorn alongside. You might remember him from last year's New Zealand Rally Championship, driving the Escort 2000 RS2000. He's co-driving and maybe doing some of the driving. Haven't quite got that bit of information, but Keith Hamilton has done very well. He's leading Stephen Gill in the Ford Escort by a minute 4.8. Then comes Kerry Sloan in his Toyota Starlet at 3 minutes and 6 behind Gill. And then it's another 3 minutes 45, so some big gaps in the front field. Peter Light there in his Ford Escort, and Tim McDonald, who had a fairly lucky escape in stage 4, almost rolled his Toyota Corolla there. He is in 5th place, but 17 minutes down on Peter Light and 25 minutes down on Keith Hamilton, but 100% finishing record at least in the Silver Frond for today. On to the other ancillary rallies that have been running, of course, after all those competitors. The Mainland 2-day rally has been an interesting fight between James Worker and Josh Keeley. And it looks like James Worker has overhauled Josh Keeley in the final special stage to take an overnight rest with a 7.7 second lead as they embark on 8 more stages tomorrow. So James Worker in the Evo 6 leads Josh Keeley by 7.7 seconds. David Clearwater is 47.8 seconds further back. Dylan Thompson in the Fiesta 2.3. Clearwater, of course, in his usual Evo 4. Dylan Thompson's got Ford Fiesta 2.3 pedaling along quite nicely, but he's 31 seconds down on Clearwater, although there is some talk that he was held up by a slower car in stage 6, so there might be an adjustment to a time pending there. Amy Keeley in the other Magnum H6 is at 3 minutes 5 down on Dylan Thompson, and that field is completed by Nigel King, followed by Rory Lawn, then Jamie Donaghy. Mike Matheson in the Vitz leads the Class A there. Adrian Jones is 3rd in Class B in the FX Corolla in 10th place, and Nigel Eade in the Legacy is the sole Class E entry, some 12 minutes down on James Worker. Unfortunately, we lost Alan Garrick with a mechanical problem after stage 3 earlier on today. Mark Jackson also has come and gone a couple of times today with mechanical issues in the Ford Escort, and Jack Elliott in the Toyota Echo also went out in stage number 6. On to the final one we'll cover for you today, the Rally of North Canterbury, the one-day rally, part of the mainland, which included mainland series competitors. That's been an interesting fight. Actually, the fastest man of the day has been Mike Tall, as you probably would expect, in the Mitsubishi Mirage. He's come out with a 2 minute 34.6 second winning margin over Sean Haggerty and Bella Haggerty in their Impreza. Jack Stokes just continues to move from pace to pace and to learn an amazing amount this year. He's got that Ford Fiesta R2 up into 3rd place, a podium finish for the youngest Stokes sibling. 2 minutes 26 down on the Haggertys at the end of the rally. He's held off Sean McKenzie, who's 1 minute 18 behind in the Mitsubishi VR4. James McIver in the Mark II Escorts finished 5th, another minute 19 further back. Then it's 58 seconds back to Dave Ollis in the WRX. Hayden Shakespeare's brought his Evo 3 home 24 seconds further back in 7th place, and the top group finished there. Willie Hawes, the Toyota 86, 22 seconds further back. Then Harry Silcock in the Toyota Starlet just beat home his brother Josh Silcock by 2 minutes 15. The two Starlets going, or two different Starlets, obviously one's third in Class B, but Josh has won Class A there, ahead of John Ward in the WRX by 17 seconds. Then Daff O'Rourke in her Fiesta R2, 5.7 seconds further back in 12th. Chris Herdman second in Class A in his Starlet, 26 seconds further back. And then it's 3 minutes 43 back to Pat Norris in the Yaris, taking out the final podium Class A position. And Kevin Brocky another 8 minutes further back in his Toyota Vitz. And unfortunately, we lost Braden Sim in the BMW with a mechanical problem just before the start of the final stage. And Kyle Thompson and his Starlet went out in stage number 6. So as far as tomorrow goes, we've got 8 more stages as the rally swings west. 4 stages will take place near the on this side of the Southern Alps, with a start from 7:30 in the morning, a restart from Christchurch before they do those 4 stages. And in the afternoon, it's a Westland Rally territory with Bell Hill, Mitchells and Camerons being used, and those stages will make up the Westland Clubman's Rally, and that's the final round of the mainland series. So the Westland Rally for those competitors, and that will start in the afternoon, and they'll be running at the back of the 2-day rally field, but ahead of the time trial guys. So that's where we stand for you for now. I guess that pretty much. Oh, there's the lunch break in the Coomera Domain due to happen between 12:30 and 1:30 tomorrow for those that are actually getting out chasing the rally. So enjoy yourselves, travel safe, and we'll look forward to being in touch tomorrow. Chris Grant signing off from the Chris Sport Results Centre.